My name is Kevin MURCKO. I'm CEO of COINMETRO. You see the nice logo on my shirt here. It's basically a crypto exchange, but we have a few other caveats built in that I think makes us unique. Not to go too long into that, but basically we're kind of a challenger bank along with a retail investment platform, and we have exchange as well put into that business model. I'm also working on something called Ignium, which is a central securities depository. To dumb that down as far as I can, it's basically settlement, so between buyers and sellers of tokenized securities. And I have something called the European Crypto Association, which is a lobbying group. So we talk to regulators, we talk to industry professionals. We basically try to tell people what crypto is, what blockchain is, and why not to be afraid of it, and how it can actually be a real use case in their industry, or how regulators can better deal with laws and how they pertain to crypto and blockchain in general. So I can say we just did something in Montenegro, which most people probably don't even know where that is on a map. But we were in Montenegro and we basically got them to create, and we helped them create, a sandbox. What a sandbox is a place where you can go and basically test a regulated product without needing to get the licensing. So it helps innovators come in, create something, mainly fintech related, at least to start, and show the regulator, look, we know this should be licensed, this is how it functions, this is why you shouldn't be afraid of it, this is how we can adopt it to current legislation, and it allows those people to basically grow their product in a regulated environment without needing to go through all the hoops, right? When you talk about some regulators are very difficult to deal with. But generally speaking, regulators are regulators. So they're there for a reason. They take what the legislative body does and they try to enforce it. And their whole goal usually is to protect the small guys, protect the small investors. They have different ways that they think they should do that. Some of them don't make any sense. But at the end of the day, like I said, regulators are regulators. So I've talked to the EFSA here in Estonia, the FSA in the UK, the SEC and the CTFC in the US, regulators in Brazil, BaFin in Germany, the ASIC in Australia. All these different regulators have many things in common, but I think what has happened over the last 10 to 15 years, because I come from the FX industry and I've been there for 20 years, so talked to a lot of regulators over those 2 decades. Regulators didn't want to actually bring on people from an industry to help them draft legislation. Now that's changing, and that's a very good thing. That means that people like me and other people in this room can go to the regulator and say, look, this is why this doesn't make sense, this is why this makes sense, this is how we can protect investors, and they actually listen, which is great. So here's one. So I've launched a lot of products, I've done a lot of entrepreneurial things throughout my life. I've never done anything. So when we did this COINMETRO, we did a token sale. We did a token sale back in 2017. I've raised money before from retail investors and all this. Nothing's new there. But I never did so in such a public setting. So doing so on Telegram, where basically you have 20,000 people that generally just ask for information all the time. And I like to be an open and transparent person, so I give them almost all the information like they were sitting in the boardroom. And basically now you have 20,000 people critiquing every move you make. Which can be quite daunting, right? Because now you don't know, maybe you question yourself or question your judgment. So I think the Bitcoin, crypto in general, everybody wants to be open, right? I'm about decentralization, being open, sharing, etc. But those things, while they do help in many aspects, sometimes they can slow things down. And it took me a while to adapt to the fact that now I had this open public that I needed to appease, and at the same time listen to their feedback, but then still make a decision because, well, I'm the CEO, I have to make decisions, right? That's my job. So I think that was a lesson to be learned. It's much more difficult to do it in the open than do it the conventional way, where you have 5 people on a board, and that's the only people you have to deal with. Where it used to be, it was about creating awareness for your brand, your company's brand, right? So I have COINMETRO, we have Ignium. You want to create a branding around COINMETRO. You want people to recognize it, see your logo and go, I know these guys. Now, because everything's so social and social media, and you have all these channels like Instagram and Twitter, we're actually now starting to create personal brands. So now it's much more important for the CEO or the CFO or the COO, whoever is the face of the entity, usually the CEO, to create a personal brand. If you're not a personal brand, if people don't recognize you and understand that you're probably the right guy or girl for the job, then your company branding kind of loses some of its image. Because they know what the company does maybe, but they don't know actually who's doing it. So showing them that someone's capable at the top really means that no matter, even if the company makes mistakes, or they might not like a product you release or whatever, they still have confidence in that personal brand. So I think that's becoming much more prevalent in every industry, and in crypto as well. And it's very important to make sure that people at the top have personal branding. Well, today's the first day, so far so good. I was quite surprised because I've never been to a crypto conference that's on time. And I would say that we started off a bit slippery, but we caught right back up, and I think we're actually back on time, so that's quite amazing. So far the topics have been good. We had a nice heated panel discussion, which was quite nice. It's always good to have a bit of controversy, you know. People get bored about hearing about, you know, tokenization all day long, so adding a bit of color or commentary into the mix is quite nice. And yeah, so far so good. I think it's been quite productive. I've met a few people that I hadn't met before, only knew by name. We had some great conversations, so I'm waiting for tonight to see how that plays out, and hopefully I'll wake up in the morning and we'll do this thing all over again.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, so much. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.